Silver satin sheets, wet with sweat, fell from the bed as he wrenched up from sleep. A harsh wind blew in and out of his chest, burning his chapped lips. As he went to wipe the sleep from his eyes, he was cruelly reminded that his hand had been lost in the arena several years ago. He sat up more balanced so as to use his left. "Marcon, are you okay?" a sweet voice said, coming from the darkness. He could just make out the shimmer of Kulia's bobbed golden hair. "I'm fine, just a dream." "What was it about?" He slid his feet off the bed and turned facing the huge window that led to the balcony outside. Overtaking most of the night sky was the azure blue gas planet, Orion. He opened the decorative pane glass case that held the collection of cybernetic hands he had at his disposal. He looked around until he found the one meant for home use. It was less reactive and less lethal than some of the others, but it was also more sensitive to heat and pressure. He heard footsteps behind him and felt the light touch of soft hands start to rub his back. Just between his shoulder blades below the base of his neck he felt her kiss. A tingle ran all through him, yet he continued to fasten his prosthetic. He forced the needle-like electrodes down into his raw nerve, and pain shot up his arm intensely for half a second, until the hand finished booting up. The sudden disappearance of the pain left a void of stimulation that was immediately filled by the light touch of his beautiful wife. He felt himself grow against his sleep pants. He spun around to see her beautiful amber eyes. "I'm going to pour us some wine, and then I'm going to come back to fuck you until one of us can't move." A grin overtook his tattered face. She laughed. Her finger traced the scar that ran down the side of his neck to his chest. She leaned in for a kiss. A hand went down his pants and brushed his manhood. "A sneak attack, is it?" he thought. The warmth of her body was comfortable against his. He had already forgotten about the dream he couldn't remember. She pulled away, crinkled her nose, and shook her head, causing her short golden hair to bounce. "No, we're going to pour us some wine." She grabbed his rough left hand and slid it up her thighs to her cotton panties beneath her nightgown. He could feel that she was already wet for him. "And then we're going to go sit out on the balcony. Maybe the loyalists up on the ersatz ring will look down and see how real pleasure looks." She grinded up against him and kissed him once more. He felt lucky they had fallen in love before he was captured, back when he was truly handsome. She led him by his synthesized hand into the kitchen. They had met when they were both still teenagers. She had still been budding, but he had just reached his prime. Lean and strong-jawed, he had always been told he had a gorgeous smile. They stopped in the hallway long enough for her to push him up against the wall, tangle her hand in his black-brown hair, and nibble at his lip. When he looked up, he saw himself in the mirror. 7 scars had ripped across his face. One was a burn that left him unable to grow a left sideburn. The others were all cuts or grazes. 2 teeth were now missing from his smile, his left top canine and his bottom right incisor. His eyes met hers again. He was truly lucky. They continued down the hall. Once they had reached their destination, she pressed a couple of buttons on the touchpad that hung on the wall, and within a few seconds 2 glasses and a cool bottle of vintage red was raised from the black counter in the center of the room. She carried the glasses crisscross in one hand and the bottle in the other. Marcon playfully smacked her ass as she passed. They walked out on the terrace, and he laid down on the raised lounge chair that sat next to a small obsidian coffee table. She sat the wine and glass down on the table and herself on top of him. She began kissing his neck. Ah, first the wine," he protested. He reached over and poured himself a glass first. He began pouring the second. "Say when," he said. The wine continued to flow from the bottle until it began to flow over the top of the glass. He lifted up the neck and turned back to her. She chuckled and said, "When." He set the bottle down, and before he could pick up his glass, she had already overtaken him. He thought to himself, "I guess I'll be okay without the wine."
Who are the Loyalists? What is the ersatz ring? What happened to Marcon's arm? Like and subscribe to find out.